Hello and welcome to this launch seminar for Boardon 1.5. We're going to talk about pre-boarding and onboarding with the solution Boardon.io. Today I'm going to show you some new features that we're very proud of. It's mainly to get it a bit easier for the administrator, making it a bit faster and get more control over your administration. And there's also some functions for the end user, making it faster and a bit more logical, we hope, for these onboardings. Well, we already think it's a good experience, but you have to constantly improve it to get it better. And this release 1.5 also makes some initial work for the larger work we're doing with 2.0 that's planned to come out in February, March 2020. So let's dive into the features. So the first one is more flexibility for inviting people with links in reminders, especially. We will also talk about direct launch of new content, preview of videos and images, changes in what content is shown in the library, and some UX improvement for the experience of quiz, which we think is good for the end user. There's also a large new technical feature, which is Vimeo support. So you can use Vimeo videos throughout the solution. So let's get started. I'm logged into a solution called a demo company called Your Brand, which shows that you can have your own colors and logos and whatnot. I'm going to start with showing the flexibility of inviting links. Let's check the content and the push notifications, and let's add a reminder. So this could be a reminder halfway into the introduction or the onboarding, and let's say it's an email. Let's say, hi, you have not completed all content of the onboarding. Is it time to get started? Question mark. Use this link to go directly to the solution onboarding program. So we have a new option here that's called magic link, which will work the same as the invite. When you invite the user for the first time, you can just click here to get a magic link, insert it into your reminder or your welcoming message. As before, you can have first name, last name, their username. If they have a supervisor or a buddy or a boss, you can use the first day at work, which you also know, and this new feature then magic link. So let's save that. And you can use that in the plans. If you go to content plans, go to your introduction plan, I can add this using the plus sign here, add event. I'm picking up my new reminder. Let's say that reminder is going to be one day after this important activity preparations. So I click this one. I have the reminder. I know already what's in this because I just added it. It can go to the user, or they can go to user and the supervisor if you like. Let's set the condition. Let's set the condition for the quiz has to be completed. Otherwise, if it is completed, they will not get a reminder because you know they're on track. But if it is not completed, you will get this reminder with a new magic link helping them going into the onboarding solution. So maybe you will not get 100% everyone getting through all their onboarding material before the first day, but this feature is one way to help them along this to get this done. So that's for the reminders. Let's go into the learning content. This is has been rebuilt a bit, so we have this selection is now higher up. So you select what kind of learning content you want to create. You have the icon and the name here, but then all the other options change a lot depending on what kind of learning content you're trying to get. done here. So let's say we have a file. We use the company history, for example. So you have this page where you can show text about this learning content before you get to the file, actual file. And the new thing here, as you see, is the getting an image. So the image is previewed directly, so you see how the content is going to look. If you like, and maybe this in-between text is just something that they don't need, you can actually use this new feature, Open Immediately, which is kind of direct launch. So it just takes that away. It's still here if you had something there to work on, but you now skip through that, and you click the link and you just go directly to your PDF or your YouTube link or something. So you have now the option to have quite a bigger description of the content, or you can go directly to it with this Open Immediately feature. This has made us to think a bit how this confirm completed learning content feature works. So if you have this text here that they have to complete or manually check that they are done with the content, this is now shown directly into the portal. So I will go through that later on, it's how that looks. So, okay, let's save this content. I can also now show you the Vimeo test, the Vimeo feature. So it's a new type of learning content. You just pick up the Vimeo ID, and as I'm showing now, both YouTube and Vimeo will try to show the video directly here. You can see if it works. And you can, for this as well, open immediately or have a launch page before it starts. So a lot more graphical, and this is the first step to get a more wizard-based or guide-based way of creating content and creating the plans in Boardon. So hopefully we'll see a lot more of this in 2.0. Okay, so we have shown the preview of video, the images, the new way of adding learning content. Let's look at what's new for the user. And I'm going up to my user selection. I'm going to show you the library first. Sorry. So plans, introduction plan. If you scroll down now, we can see that you can check and uncheck parts of the library, what's going to be shown in the library. So as before, we just added anything on the timeline in the library, and you could add more things in the library. Now I can have it both in the library and the timeline, or I can just deselect that so you don't see all the stuff in the timeline in the library. So that's a very flexible way now to show this, and it's also shown for the user. Let me just use the affected user function to propagate this to my user. So I'm saving that plan, going to my user. So this is also shown here under status. You can see what learning contents I have completed. It will actually also show if I have learning content in obsolete plans, it will show as a new row. I don't have that for this user, unfortunately. But so now it's quite simple. If you go to content, you see it's same view here, and you can actually tailor it. So this user, you just hide stuff from that user, or take away or add something from the timeline into the library. So it's very flexible. I can also add for a user now a title. It's not mandatory, but you can have a title for the user, make it a bit more personal. So for example, I have named myself Customer Service Manager. Sounds good, I think. Don't forget to add the supervisor here if you want them to know and use the supervisor function. If you add a user supervisor here, that will automatically generate weekly letters by email to that supervisor. And you can use that in the reminders as well, the supervisor function. So let's invite me here, I will send an invite to me. As before, I can use the pen function to edit the invite if I have something more to say. I can also add the magic link here, but it's actually it's a bit double. You can use it in the text here, but you will also get a default link at the bottom of these invites, so you don't need to add a magic link here. So let's send that out, and I'm going to pick that up in my email. There it comes. I will open that with my magic link. So I have my welcoming page, I have my countdown, my timeline, and you now see my library. Here is the title showing for the user in your profile. Maybe we'll use this area a bit more in the next version, showing more personal stuff about the user, for example, which learning content they have completed. We're talking about that. Let's see if our advisory board is interested in that as well. You can also see that the Vimeo is shown here. It works just as YouTube. You can also have it in full screen on mobile devices and on desktop. And as you can see now, for these confirmed learning contexts, you have a bit divided button here, so you can actually click here to confirm the learning content directly, and we get an instruction if there's a need to confirm these learning contents. It's for compliance issues, or if you need someone to manually confirm something that they have taken part of some information before the first day. Let's show you the quiz. The quiz also is updated, as I said in the beginning. So the quiz now has the colors from the company colors. It looks a bit different. It will, of course, look a bit different on mobile devices as well. I do like this feature where you can get the result directly, but also a feedback text and the retry button, so you can directly retry the quiz and start over. Before, you had to go out and in again, and it was not a very good user experience. But I think we at least now are moving a step further, and for the next version, we're taking in customer views on how to improve the quiz function. Maybe there will be a survey as well for upcoming versions. Okay. That was the big features. Some small features. If I go back to the administrator view, I can see in the user view how many users I have left on my license. For example, if I deactivate someone here, I directly get a feedback how many users I can use before my account is filled. So it's very easy to see now how many active users I can have in the system. I don't think I've forgotten anything. Maybe this little feature here, if I log out and my magic link suddenly doesn't work, if I have to use my password, I can either reset it, of course, but I can also now see the password here, which is good for troubleshooting. I can use the password I got in the email, and I, both on mobile devices and desktop, I can see my password in clear text here if I click this link here. So that's good for easing, especially on mobile devices. I think this is where you don't copy paste as much between your email and this login screen. So that was the most important features of 1.5. I hope you enjoy that. And if you want to get started, just click on Get Started on the Boardon.io page, and you can register and try it for free. Just name your own URL, select the domain you want, and just get started and invite people. The free account is fully functional, and you can use that just to get started and try it out. So thank you very much for your attention today, and we'll be back with more interesting webinars later on.